I wanted to get into a little bit more about what sparked your interest in construction in general. So how did you get interested in construction?
Yeah, so I grew up in the Dakotas. I graduated high school in Fargo, North Dakota, and moved out to come to Colorado. That I always loved. We do family ski trips in Colorado, and wanted to go to college, and fell in love with the Colorado lifestyle. And my stepfather that raised me was my boss's boss. What became the corporate world that I stepped into after I graduated with a business degree. And I had the pleasure of going to 4 states and going to 28 lumber yards around those 4 states. And my job was to take the corporate program and go into the lumber yard and tell them how great this new corporate program was. So this is in 2003, and I'd walk into a lumber yard and tell them, this quoting tool for selling windows is going to change your world. And they say, that is total BS. I fax in my orders to the corporate office, and they do that, and I don't do any of that stuff. Or I'd say, we have this great new display for you, and we're going to put all these walls in and do all this stuff. And they say, I don't care. I buy from Joey down the street. So I spent 4 years learning that. But one of the store managers, most of them were what I talk about on the podcast of crusty contractor or crusty supplier that are resistant to change, and you can go back and listen to that. But one of them said, Devon, there's 2 things that'll make or break a great construction project. I was like, I'm interested in that instead of some corporate program. He said, a good foundation and the right windows and doors. And I didn't know what I was doing except trying to fill the corporate mold. And I said, foundations don't sound like fun. So I went all in on windows and doors in 2003. So I've done windows and doors ever since. But as being windows and doors, I've interviewed a lot of people on the podcast. I just interviewed Bill Allen, who runs a cool company called Evolve Lab, and he talks about the data drop chasm. And I found the hard part of transferring the enthusiasm and communicating how to move a construction project along. Windows and doors are one of those really hard parts that I'm hoping to get challenged, and I have some of my great team from Mountain View here tonight to talk about that. But it was really 2 things, and it was windows and doors, and I've been passionate about it ever since. And then flipping gears to the art of construction side, it was all about building an audience. So in 2014, when I was starting the podcast, it was when podcasting wasn't the cool in thing. I've been doing this for a little while. And it was right at the time when all of Elon Musk books were coming out, and we're learning about what is Tesla, and you read the books about the fake car coming out of the ground and people buying all these cars that we now sitting here now going to talk about building science, and learn the other week from that 2 electric cars use more energy than a current whole house. So we can challenge each other about those different things over the line. But it was really about him asking a very simple question. What do you want it to be 10 years from now? That's how he does his business decisions. And he's made some pretty crazy ones, but some pretty good ones. So that's and why I started the Art of Construction. It was to build an audience, and then the riches and the niches are getting a group of master facilitators who want to work together.